First is commitment, forgiveness, and Scott said, give your mate the best piece of pizza.
If I had to pull it down to very simple terms, mainly we've stayed together because we've managed to make ourselves indispensable to the other. We've always found that I need her and she needs me. And this is not something as frivolous as money. It's a much more complicated thing than that. Anybody can get money. I mean, we base our lives. We've been just rat poor. I mean, right down to it, and loved each other then and loved each other now. We're not rich people. To some people, we're wealthy, but we're not rich people. But we have enough. If we live another 10 years, we got plenty. If we live beyond 10 years, I don't know. We may be into trouble. Come on in here. I want to show you some little things that I like to make toys. I like to carve things out, and at one time in my life I like to do this. There were Scott making marionette heads. And just scares the hell out of kids with these. But these were kind of leftover things.
How old are these?
I don't know, 20 years. Snake. Let's go in the cement. These are shoes that Scott did out of these two boats, which I haven't done, and they'll never get made.
Did you teach him how to do this? Or he just figured it out?
Well, figured it out. I made that puzzle up there. These are some of the gourds that I have grown and made ladies out of. See, they look like swans, or supposed to look like swans. Records. These are commercial records. This was what was left out of all of these. These were all full of these records. These are rock and roll records from the 80s, which neither Seth nor I have any use for.
Where are we going, Jim?
We're going in the shop. The last 6 months, I haven't gotten much of anything done. But, come on, I wanted to show you. This I bought, but I want to make something like that. Because I made one, I hadn't thought about this one in a couple of years. I made one that you will never see another one like this. And you may not want to see this. I made this thing, God, 35, 40 years ago. I don't know if it even still, may not even still turn. Yeah, there you go. It's gonna have to be rebent a little bit. But he would come around and he would kick this guy right here. He'd kick the hog in the butt and hit him with his thing. A man walking with a pig in front of him, hitting it with the thing. You'll never see another one like this. But anyway, I like to build, and I buy prototypes. And build some of them, and most of the stuff that's here is stuff that was seconds. I don't know whether this is probably it needs to be, this thing here needs to be sanded. But if they're sanded, they'll come do all to the bottom. They're supposed to. They'll go all the way to the bottom when they're sanded. But most of the stuff that I have here now is I've built as prototypes and have given the good ones away. I had a bunch of them. Oh, this is, okay. Have you ever seen one of these? It's under the X. It's under the X. Now it's under the parallel. There's a lot of toys that come through here and been made. I don't have any prototypes left of them, but I used to fool around down here a lot. Spend a lot of time in this shop. There's guitars overhead. I don't know where all of them are. This right over here, I got a brand new stove. Has to be rust off, but come here. Huh? Look in here. Most of this is country music. Lost and Found, that's a bluegrass crew. John Denver, Bob Dylan, Everly Brothers, Flatt and Scruggs, Freddie Fender, Gatlin Brothers. I've told the kids to go through here and get what they want. We've got about 3,000 albums. This is a pretty mushy love song. I wanted to write the ultimate love song, and this is probably it. At least for me. When I first saw your eyes, I was mesmerized. You took me by surprise. Showed me paradise. When I first saw you, girl, I saw a brand new world, a place I've never been. Their love for me began. Forever I can see our lives will spend as one for all eternity. And you are all I need to make my dreams come true. My life and all I'll be, I'll gladly give to you. See or know which path of life we go, and little
how'd you guys meet?
On a blind
On a
date.
blind date
She
that
went
we
out
were
with a
not
friend of
with each
mine.
other.
And I fell in love with her. I saw her in the back seat. And I fell
No,
in
he
love
did
with her.
not fall in love with me that quick.
I was in the Navy. She was in college. I came home one weekend and I got a friend of mine to date her, and I dated another girl. And Susie said that I was too busy in the front seat to notice her in the back seat. But anyway, about 3 weeks, a month later, I came home again, and Rick was supposed to take her out, and he called me the day before that, and or maybe that day, and said he couldn't make it. And so I called Susie and told her, I said, I don't have anything to do, and you don't have anything to do tonight, so you want to go out? And she said, God, I want to go. She said, I've been waiting on this,
I did not say that. I said, Will, I said, I really
I
don't know
guess.
if I want to go out with you. But I did.
I had kind of a reputation there at that college. I dated a lot of people. I was trying to find the right one. And so we went out and we liked one another. A year later, we got engaged. We hadn't seen each other a half dozen times physically.
Really, yeah.
And we wrote a lot of letters.
You didn't even talk on the phone much then, because it was long
You didn't
distance.
have,
It was,
you didn't have
we
cell
just-
phones.
no. We saved them for a while, but then, like, probably, gosh, 40-some years ago, we burned them.
You know holograms. I'm sure from New York, you know holograms. This one needs to be cleaned up. And I don't know if like I say, this needs to be cleaned up. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Look at that. It looks just like you could grab the thing. It's down in here. Now watch. Ready? It didn't fall in there.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I thought the slit was in the back. Now you got to show
The
me
slit's
again.
on the top.
I was not impressed yet.
Well, you better get impressed this time, because this is the last one I'm going to do. Ready? Roxy is a hand-me-down dog. She got the best gig she's ever had right here. We found out she was Seth's mother-in-law dog. And when they moved to New York, they couldn't move this dog to New York. So she was over here lamenting the fact that she didn't know what she was going to do with Roxy. And I said, well, we got one, and taking care of one is about the size like taking care of two. We'll take her if they get along. They don't know what to do without each other. And we found out that this dog had been hit by a car. Her back leg was useless. When we got her, she walked on 3. Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving, she came outside, and all of a sudden she was running on all 4 legs. I don't know what we decided was okay, but anyway.
All right, let me find it.
We know that it's not a debilitating thing. It's in her mind. And this dog, although she's pretty as she can be, she's just stupid.
Sally. Shh.
But she's sweet.
Listen to Pat.
She stinks, but she's sweet. When we got married, I told her that this 50-50 stuff wasn't going to do it, because there's times, I know me, when there's times when she's going to come 90% of the way, and there'll be times when I go 90% of the way. It ain't always going to work out 50-50, and I'm not going to argue about it when it doesn't. I'm going to try to walk out and calm down a little bit and come back and go whatever I got to go. But when we got married, we both needed to get married. We were 22. We were looking for a life mate. Don't you feel like a fool? It's been my experience in observing people who are getting to a point, right before they get to a point where they both go all to hell and there is no reconciliation. There is a point where they're just tired out. They're just tired, and they're making big deals out of little bitty deals. And I think if they'd slow down and think it over, they could probably get back together. That's just the way that it looks to me. But anyway, that's what this song is about. Don't you feel like a fool? Don't you feel like a fool when you say we're through to the one you loved just yesterday? How can it be that you spoke so tenderly of a love you swore would never die? Don't you think that it's right to make another try? This time try to be fair. Don't you feel some shame after sharing one name just to walk out and throw it all away? Over things you think wrong, you made it hard to get along. It's your fault at least as much as hers. Can't you find common ground that'll help you get around the faults till they all fade away? What you used to do, you're thinking. Can't you feel your heart just sinking? You're not thinking it through. What's the matter with you? That you feel you have to tell her goodbye. You better think more than twice when you toss lover's dice, 'cause there's always a chance you'll lose. You can't think with your pride, you gotta see the other side before both hearts come unglued. So before you part, have a talk with your heart. Make sure you ask for help from above. Give it some time, I think you'll find you're just tired, you're not out of love. What you used to do, you're thinking. Can't you feel your heart just sinking? You're not thinking it through. What's the matter with you? You better go back and tell her you'll try. You better go back and tell her you'll try. We'll scrub that part too. I don't need to. There's a banjo that came out of World War II. It's got to be redone. But you can see the U.S. right here. There's something there. The military banjo is like a lot of other banjos. It came to me quite unsolicited. It just sort of lucked around. A guy had gotten it from his dad. His dad had passed away. And he said all he knew was that his dad had been, I believe it was in Korea, is where the guy was. He might have been in World War II, but I think Korea is where he was. And he had the banjo and the case also. And he thought it was worth a lot of money. I didn't. And he ended up coming to my way of seeing it. So I don't play banjo, but I do have probably a half dozen or so. Okay, the fiddles. I probably own 20. When I was a kid, my mom and dad thought that all of my brother and sister and I should all start with piano. After taking piano for a couple of years, they allowed us to pick an instrument, any instrument we wanted to play, and they would support that. I like fiddles. My mother played a fiddle, and I took up the fiddle. I took lessons for 3 or 4 years. Never did master it or the piano or the guitar for that matter. But I like fiddles, and fiddles are pretty easy to play when it comes right down to it. They are much more organized, easily organized than some of the other instruments. I have probably 20 of them. I play occasionally. Don't play real well. I don't play a fiddle. I play a violin, and there's a difference. The instrument is the same, but the way you play it is different.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of shots of the music boxes. So, I mean, did you collect them? Do you still collect them? Did you build those, or?
I appreciate music boxes. They are so comforting when the shop is silent and things begin to wind down, music boxes are so very comforting. I did collect them at one time. I probably had, I don't know, maybe a dozen. And I made some toys out of them, and they got gone. And I have a couple left that were hard to work with. So listen to it. The college she went to and that I eventually graduated from was an all-girls school.
At one time.
At one time, when I met her, there were like, or when I went there were like 600 guys and 8,000 women.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When he went there, it was a lot of the guys were Vietnam vets, and you know, before that when I was there were about 150 guys. Yeah. I wanted to major in home ec, and that was the place. Actually, one little tidbit we learned was that I can't remember the statistics, but people who had degrees in home ec were less likely their marriages are less likely to end in divorce than people who didn't. This statistical whatever.
And what do you credit that to?
Yeah, I don't know. I really
Being able to cook.
Happy man.
Yes, yeah.
You ate some of the slaw.
I
You
sure
ate
did.
the dessert. How can you leave somebody like that?
But my degree was in clothing and textiles, so it wasn't even.
She didn't know how to cook. When we
I
got
wasn't
married.
a good cook.
I taught her how to cook. The cooking that I knew was from camping, and so we had a lot of spam and eggs and beans.
I had no clue how to tell if meat was done and stuff like that. I didn't.
This is cucumber slaw.
Oh, it's just cucumbers and onions and vinegar, sugar, salt, and celery salt. No, celery seed.
I ate it with meatloaf. I ate it with green beans.
Just like a little side
Yeah.
thing.
And it's something you can do with a lot of cucumbers. You can go buy a half dozen cucumbers and make
It's
that
like
much.
7 cups of cucumbers after they're sliced. Susie makes it. Jim gets the cucumbers.
Yum.
Is this a family recipe?
It's actually somebody I worked with years ago gave it to me.
The other thing that gets a lot of comments is the fig jam.
Oh, that is a family
That comes
recipe.
down from
Yeah, that's his
Came down
parents.
from Grandma. It came down
We don't know where it came from.
from
far
everybody.
back.
There's
Yeah.
absolutely nothing to making the preserves. You can make preserves out of any fruit. Strawberries, blackberries. You can make it out of pears. You can make it out of anything. You're adding a tremendous amount of sugar,
Yeah, a lot of sugar.
but it's so good.
Jim, do you cook anything or make anything, or is this all Susie's creativity in this?
I usually do the outside, and she usually does
Handles
the
it.
inside.
Yeah,
All right.
Although when it gets something like figs, it's a group effort.
And applesauce is like.
Yeah, and it gets to be where it gets to be too much for one. Both do it, but I don't generally cook. She does such a good job.
We had been married 6 months, and I was a bridesmaid in my sister's wedding. And the priest, in his homily during her wedding, said, "Don't go to bed mad. Don't let the sun set on your wrath." That say, and
That's a stupid thing to say.
and so really, we kind of have lived by that. We usually, if we have a disagreement, it's usually resolved by the time we want to go to sleep. If it's not, somebody's not going to be sleeping. So, yeah.
We don't agree to disagree. We just agree one way or another. It's going 90%.
I like it when we do these things because I get to wear like my ridiculous clothing, because where else? I'm not going anywhere. I don't drive. I don't go out.
Oh boy, that's as dressed up as you're going to get over the holidays.
Exactly.
This is our Christmas tree this last year. It's rather spindly, but it's typical here. We cut off the farm whatever I can find. And Susie asked us this year, she said, "Are we going to have a Christmas tree this year?" I said, "Oh yeah, it'll be at least as good as last year's." But I mean, anyway, There are 7 tunes. One is mine, and I did the other 6 of covers. And there's some pretty good tunes in it.
I might be biased, but I did get to listen to it yesterday, and 7 songs is not enough.
Isn't it fun?
It is. I played it, I think, like 4 times back to back, like just, like all the way through. There was one on there that I hadn't heard before, and it's probably my favorite.
Which was what?
I Only Want You for Christmas.
I only want you for Christmas, honey. Don't want nothing else. I only want you for Christmas, honey. Tie a ribbon around yourself. Well, I ain't gonna write a letter, send it north to the pole. 'Cause what I want for Christmas, Santa don't need to know. I only want you for Christmas, honey. I heard that song several years ago, and I really liked it. And I didn't remember the verses, and so I made up part of the verses. So yeah, it's a fun song. It's one of them.
Well, you know what's funny? If you let me, I'm going to show the picture. But last year around Christmas time, you posted a picture of your apologies abysmal rapping job for Susie. And I think I want to share that because it was funny because you did put it was from Santy, probably because you didn't want to own up to your awful rapping job.
This is, it's about the gift. It's about the idea of the gift. It's not about the wrapping up. It's not, it's like people get married and they have a big wedding. It's just not about the wedding. This is about, marriage. But anyway.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
This little baby costs $12 and you can get it at jimavett.com. Thank you.
Get it. It's definitely worth it.
That was from our shameless commerce division. It is a Christmas song I wrote. Bob Crawford asked me, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. He asked me in April. He said, "Would you be on a Christmas album?" I said, "Yeah, I guess." I said, "When do you want it?" He said, "I'd like to have it by September." I said, "This is giving me, maybe a month to get it recorded and sent to you." He said, "Yeah, can you do it?" I said, "Yeah." So I sat down and I wrote this song. When I sent it to him, he said, "God, that is really a nice song." He said, "But you didn't have to write one. You could have just done it, But anyway, I wrote it and it's recorded there, and I think that's the only place it's recorded. Called The Brightest Star. The stars shone bright on a world at night, a night that would change the world. For too many years and through too many tears, the world had lived in the dark. The day broke bright from a long dark night, growing bright from one star and its light. The light from that star would shine near and far, over ages and distance to end the night. The light was new and seen by few, even though it was there for all. The few that saw were all in all. The changes it made in their lives. The chance had come by the birth of the sun to change the way that we live The light from above filled the world with love, which led to a brighter day, where lives filled with sin, a chance to begin, a chance to walk in the way. Stars shone bright on a world that night, a night that would change the world. Susie's bad to dream, and she feels like dreams are real, like a lot of people. One morning we woke up and she said, I had a really scary dream last night. I said, yeah. She said, and I was laying there about half asleep. She said, yeah, said, you were more ugly to me than you've ever been, and it hurt my feelings. I said, yeah. And she said, I cried a lot. And I said, well, and I turned around to go back to sleep. She said, well, aren't you going to apologize? And I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for whatever I did. It didn't hurt me to say that. It was stupid not to say it. If it makes her feel better, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so,
You know how sometimes a dream will feel like it's real, and even after you wake up, you think that really happened?
And blame our beloved.
That's right. And you might blame your beloved.
In honor of Jim's toy making in his wood shop, we have something really special to share with you. Straight from Concord, North Carolina, it's the Trains Don't Come Here Anymore Avett Express. Take a look at this toy beauty. Now this paper train isn't so hard to make. You don't need a saw, you don't need to weld, you don't need a hammer or nails. All you need is scissors and tape, and you're just going to cut right around the outline of the train, follow these easy steps, and you will have your very own paper train to bring home a little bit of the magic you saw today. The first of 2 keychains that we'll be offering is this custom guitar pick keychain. We wanted something made out of wood to commemorate Jim's love for whittling, and we also wanted to honor the instruments that he had in the wood shop, including that World War II banjo and his collection of fiddles. This keychain is custom engraved with Jim's signature on beautiful zebra wood. It's finished in tung oil, and it's hanging on this cool steel cable, which is kind of reminiscent of the industrial era and trains.
Time out. Can you uncross your arms, please? Thanks. I just want you to look a little bit more friendlier.